Faramis, Valentina, Joy taken out here by ONIC Esports. And meanwhile, on the other side, some respect bands coming out. The Glue, the 1-1, and the Fanny. So already, first pick up here for ONIC Esports. Trex, what are you thinking they're looking to prioritize
I mean, with the 1-1 already being banned out, maybe locking the gold lane right away. It doesn't seem like Falcon wants to go too heavily into Kairi. And again, with the jungle being so flexible, they might want to save that towards the end. So maybe lock in the gold lane, and it does look like they're going to bring in the Kaja, though, was left open at turn out.
Okay, so the Kaja is going to be the first pick here for ONIC Esports. And knowing them, we're not really sure where this Kaja is going to be placed. It could be in the jungle, it could be a roamer, and it could even be a mid laner up until this point for them. That's how flexible they are. Really good flex choice, but right now Falcon, they are going to have to respond to this. The one thing that we noticed from the group stage is the pattern of bans and picks. The Eve, the carry, all these are viable choices, but we can see here Falcon, they're going to prioritize the Eve up first with the carry.
I mean, these are two heroes that have been very dominant. I mean, 69% win rate on that Eve, right? Solid just performance so far, and it's always something that you have to worry about, right? Real world manipulation, objective gaming is, I feel like, just the way things work, right? You really want to have that advantage when it comes to those early turtles, transitioning into the lords, fighting around, sometimes even defending your base. We've seen total flip-flops from teams with an Eve here. And there you go, across the board, it's ONIC Esports locking in the Hayabusa, which we can just go ahead and say that's going to the hands of Kairi here.
Most definitely, hopefully. I mean, I feel like it's a most definitely, and the moment I heard that Hayabusa voice coming in, I'm like, oh, there it is. We know Kairi's going to get aggressive. We know they're jumping right into it, but now it does look like that Kaja most likely going to be a roam because they are picking up the Lilia for the mid lane. I like it. I like that mid composition there. And if Kairi can kind of maybe do his own thing here and there, it's going to be a lot of pressure in that mid phase.
Yeah, this is Sansa's Lilia, okay? He used this all throughout MPL Season 10, and that's his comfort. So it's finally great to see these players start to show their cards, and we'll see what happens. Because remember, Lilia also has a fast clear.
Yeah.
So in terms of that early rotation, it does seem maybe Lilia has a bit of an upper hand because she isn't reliant on that level 4 like the Eve is. Now, following that pick, we do see the Lapu here for the side of Falcon Esports. Not really sure exactly what this Lapu is for, because usually when we see the Lapu, we see a really strong backline.
You know what's scary? When I'm looking here already at the first phase from ONIC Esports, they're able to bait out a lot of the ultimates already from Falcon Esports. I mean, you're talking the Black Shoes, you've got Shadow Kill, and then of course you have Kaja, right? Your pick potential is massive so far, and if they really want to, they can kind of whittle down, at least what we see from Falcon Esports in this first phase, whittle them down, or at least, the very least, get the real world manipulation out, and then find a team fight you're looking for. So I feel like Falcon Esports definitely needs to work around that, right? They need to also lock something in solid here for Ken in the jungle, and hopefully be that saving grace as the game goes on. But even looking at that player head-to-head, as I just mentioned, it's Ken and Kairi here. Look at that. Both of them having their 100% win rate on these signature heroes. Very different playstyles, at least in terms of the heroes, right? Martiz versus the Ling, but still, you gotta say it's gonna be the work. I feel like the work is gonna be cut out here for Ken specifically. But if it's anyone to do it, Ken can definitely do this, Trex.
Most definitely. Now we've gone into the second ban phase. The Atlas does get picked off from the side of ONIC, and Falcon aimed straight into those mages, taking out the Lunox and the Harith. Also kind of flexible picks, maybe guessing they're going to put those into the gold lane, possibly? So they want to take that out of the way. Now, still one more ban. Do they focus into the tank? Because, as we stated, that's going to be the problem. That could be the thing that really gives Kairi trouble here. So my guess is maybe the Franco. They haven't banned out the Franco yet?
Because of this assassin pick, I wouldn't want to go against someone like the Hilda or the Masha in that roaming position, because that's how someone like the Hayabusa can be pressured in that gold lane. But they're going to go for the respect ban against Naomi. The Natalia is actually going to be picked out first. But what I wanted to mention before we even got to this was the fact that Falcon banned out Harith and Lunox. I find this interesting and ironic because these two heroes are actually Zipex's heroes. So I'm not really sure if CW would pick that up in the gold lane. but surely maybe they know something we don't know, perhaps in scrims, as now we're entering the second phase of the picks where Falcon has the first opportunity to secure.
This is, I mean, we did see a quote there from Coach Dale as well, and just kind of comparing the cultures, but also even the play styles of these two teams. And that's why when we saw that team head-to-head, that's so apparent, right? They love these fights. They love also to play around their junglers if they can. But the lock-in is going to be the Fredrin here. An interesting fact, right? Fredrin is locked in. I think he's been picked almost, what, every single game or something like that. But the win rate,
35.29%.
not good. That's
not good.
That's not good.
Red.
It's group stage. It's group stage.
It's group stage. You're right.
I mean, Fredrin, right? We can assume
Freddy.
that is going. You want to call him Freddy? Call him Freddy. He's probably going in the jungle, right? And that's the thing. A lot of people are like, man, why do teams love this Fredrin so much, Trex?
Well, I think because technically it's supposed to work, right? Just like a lot of the tank junglers, the bulky junglers, it's supposed to work. And I think as we move through the knockout stage, it still can. I think it can work here because they needed Peel for Zipex. They need a heavy front line. And now, you mentioned earlier, all focusing on to this real manipulation, but the real problem is going to be Zipex, right? We know once that carry gets locked in, once those first 2 or 3 items come in, then they're also going to be able to start locking in tanky items. The Hayabusa isn't as much of a threat anymore, and now Falcon is online. So the real question is, can they put enough pressure onto Kyrie here with this lineup in time? I mean, put enough pressure to buy them enough time to get carry online.
I'm so excited because I want to answer your question too. And it all depends on this last pick that Falcon is going to be bringing to the table for Naomi. And the answer, it's going to be the Kufra. So makes sense. Kufra is going to have that CC, enough CC to be able to lock down the Hayabusa whenever he goes in. It all comes back down to the timing and how both of these teams are going to go about when they go for a 5v5 team fight.
You know, the thing about Falcon Esports lineup is it's there's so much CC, like you mentioned, Eterna. But if for some reason Zipex cannot shine on the carry, right, which is, it is a tough situation to get to that point, but still, if you don't have that or even that Eve available, the damage is shut down, you're left with just a CC train at that point, right? You're going to be taunting, you're going to be setting things up, but if the damage isn't there and you're being outpaced by ONIC Esports, that's going to be troubling, especially with pick-off potential on demand with having a Kaja.
And not only that, but looking at the gold lane, right? CW, I feel like on this Beatrix may have the upper hand in the early game. A bit more range, a bit more variables coming in with the Beatrix. So many different options. Harry's going to have to play it a little bit safe, and I'm wondering if Falcon are going to kind of play the babysitter.
Well, here we go. Cheer for your team. It's Falcon Esports versus ONIC Esports to kick off day number 1 here for the knockout stages.
Okay, this is interesting, right? Because technically when we're looking at both of the drafts, they can counter one another. But look at this. Already you can see Keyboy trying to pressure the jungle, trying to pressure Ken from those rotations. And like I mentioned earlier, this matchup between Yves and Lilia is going to favor Sans for a bit, especially in that early game, because he isn't reliant on that level 4. Whereas Justin, he needs to wait a little bit more to get those items, to get that damage, and also to get that real-world manipulation.
I think one of the biggest things here, right, is if you're Falcon Esports, you don't allow Kyrie to get an early kill. I mean, there's already so much poke back and forth. Justin, even having to walk back to the tier 2, isn't even sure if he wants to recall there just yet. But still, don't give Kyrie that early kill to not allow ONIC Esports to snowball here if you're Falcon Esports.
But there's a big problem, right? The whole thing for Falcon was to put pressure onto Kyrie, and ONIC is answering back by putting pressure of their own, already going into Falcon's jungle, not letting Naomi even step out into ONIC's jungle.
There's a lot of comparison, right? Like, in this current meta, what is more important? And I do believe that the mid lane is going to be the #1 issue when it comes down to those rotations, right? Because even if you lose the gold lane matchup, even if you lose the EXP lane, if you are able to clear faster and if you are able to rotate faster, that can alleviate any problems in terms of that draft. And so far, this is what we see Falcon lacking in the drafting.
Well, right now, I mean, as everybody gets closer to that level 4 here, the first hurdle of the game is going to be up. You can already see Ken getting in position here. The rest of the team, though, there's quite a few ONIC Esports members as they might contest this one.
Yeah, and in comes the Black Dragon Boots trying to get a back line, push on the Petrify Luxon. Kyrie takes the turtle. Nice suppression. Ken will go down. Justin brings out the real manipulation. In comes the Bravest Fighter. A lot of damage onto Sans. Sans will bite the bullet. And that is a 1-for-1 trade. But the side of ONIC does take the turtle.
All right, so ONIC is going to be able to have a little bit of an advantage in that sense. And Falcon, they need to remember how and what are the highlights of their draft, right? Wait until these members can actually be a factor and not contest too early, honestly. I think they should have let that go.
Yeah, I mean, I also like how both XP laners got those kills here. You're already going to see, right? Both. This is what you can expect from Kyrie, right? He is going to just be all in your space in your jungle, whoever is going to be playing against them. And that's something you have to play around here. So still, Falcon Esports, Yellow Flash grabbing that early kill here. We've seen just how strong a Lapu Lapu can even be. Sometimes he has to go 1 versus 2. It should work out, but still, pressure here on Ken's purple.
Oh, Sans is caught in. In comes Kyrie, though. Does a nice amount of damage on Naomi. Sans will go down. Ken picks up the kill. CW comes in with an Iberos's Passion. Ken's going to take a bit of damage, but ONIC wants to back off here. They've lost 1 member, but Zipex is here to try to claim more. CW and Keyboy able to get away from that one. Turtle up in about 40 seconds, but it's still just 1-2.
1-0 trade so far, and it's still going to rely on Falcon to get that better advantage. What do you guys particularly think about the Yuzong and the Lapu Lapu in the XP lane?
Well, I mean, both serve a purpose, right? What we're seeing a lot with this meta is Yuzong locked in for that back. They just go straight to the back line. The job here is to catch Zipex, right? I mean, he's got a flicker, but as soon as that's expended, you should be able to hit him with the Petrify. You have the Black Dragon form. You can cause chaos in the back. Meanwhile, you're still baiting everything out and relying on Keyboy to find that Divine Judgment lockdown. But that's the thing. Falcon Esports, they've got, what, 3 tanks pretty much at this point. Lapu Lapu, Fighter, Tank. You know, he can actually be that peel. He can be that front line for them. But still, the fight for the turtle. A lot of damage.
Naomi goes very, very low. Kyrie gets hit by the bouncing ball, though. Ken may go down. Boots wants to come clean up. Hits the Petrify. Ken goes down. Next could be Justin. Boots maybe a little bit too deep. Zipex, though, hits the Speedy Light Wheel, trying to come in. Yellow Flash onto Boots. Boots will be next. It's a 1-for-1 currently, but the fight keeps on going. Yellow Flash gets a stun onto Keyboy. Sans trying to find Yellow Flash, but he's just a little bit too tanky. Sans. Looks like Yellow Flash is going to back off overall. ONIC lose another member here, but still they keep the gold lead.
So, as we were just talking about all of that, right? I'm going to refer back to the graphic we saw earlier. These two teams love to team fight. Every single objective that comes up, they're going to force it, right? And that time you actually saw perfectly. Kyrie went in, used the shadow kill, and then the cleanup was there. And Justin, by the way, has just now reached a total of 200 assists for his professional MLBB career. This guy is massive.
He's reliable. Yeah. That's the main pillar of Falcon, the one who stays reliable, stays consistent, trying to deal damage from that back line, and also something that all the other members from that team can fall onto when things get rough. I mean, right now, Ken isn't having the best time, right? With a 1-2-0 KDA, his main highlight of the career here in the group stage is the fact that he was able to get the objectives. But right now, ONIC Esports, they've been the one in the upper hand in terms of that objective. And so we see Yellow Flash being the main carry here up until this 5th minute. And this Lapu Lapu is going to start snowballing. He has the CC, he has the damage. ONIC Esports, they need to be very aware of his positioning when they go for a 5v5 team fight, or they might actually fall short.
Well, this is the great thing for Falcon, right? Zipex has mainly been able to just farm up. And yes, Justin's here kind of helping him, but might be
Justin
looking
does
for
bring
Sans.
out the real manipulation. Keyboy's going to try to come in. Possible dive here. Don't think we're going to see too much, but with the turtle up in 19 seconds, this could be a nice advantage for ONIC. They kind of claim the pit. You've lost that utility from Justin there in the real manipulation. So ONIC, once again, still kind of feels like they're controlling the game here, controlling the tempo here, holding the gold lead and moving forward.
Well, that's the thing, right? They're looking for a clean sweep on the Turtles as the 3rd one of the game has now spawned. And as you mentioned, Trex, ONIC getting in position here, but once again, Falcon Esports wants to contest this one.
Ooh, Naomi comes in, nice Tyrant's Rage. Keyboy takes a lot of damage trying to get away. Ken wants to find him, but Keyboy is able to escape. Turtle still on the field, Naomi very low along with Justin. And Kyrie picks it up. That's a double kill. In comes the Black Dragon. It's a show, boys. Boots now trying to get away though. Suppression does land onto Yellow Flash. Yellow Flash wants to move in. CW is here doing a nice amount of damage. They're forced to back off. Falcon will not claim this turtle.
Oh, see, that's the thing. Every time they go for a 5v5, Falcon always falls short in this team fight. It was great, though, with the way that they did it, right? They were able to eliminate Kyrie first, prevent that damage from penetrating even worse. And that's the thing, because when Kyrie gets left open, he goes in for a double kill, even a triple kill. But oh my god, Falcon, they get the turtle. That
was so close. I thought the snipe was definitely going to hit it, but Justin is now here. San's very, very low. Naomi trying to find him. San's able to get away with just a sliver of health. This is a game, guys. This is definitely a great first game of the knockout stage.
I feel like so many times throughout the groups we saw, I think it had to be Sanji that would flicker in, called the athletic flicker, get the one hit off. But let's take a look here at the emblems. Anything sticking out specifically that's giving an advantage here for one of the teams, Eterna?
Honestly, at this point, they're all standard emblems, but the thing is, it kind of shows and reflects about the gameplay that they want to go for, right? We can see that Hayabusa Kyrie, he opted for the Assassin emblem, the high and dry, who is going to have an advantage in those 1v1 situations. So we know Kyrie, he wants to go for the pickoffs, he wants to go for the kills, whereas someone like Ken with the Demon Slayer emblem, he's looking more on the objectives. And we see that kind of reflected, even though it has been kind of taken away from Falcon when we see here in the 8th minute.
Well, right now, Falcon Esports coming up with a plan of their own. And remember, this is going to be the charge up. There's only 2 members here for ONIC Esports, but no one going to commit just yet. Still, this is the crucial, right? Whatever team can find a pick-off first, it'll allow you to get that space you need. You still have 40 seconds till that Lord is up here. But still, both teams also holding on to quite a bit of map control, right? The tier 1s in the mid lane actually are still up. So if one team or the other wants to focus on getting that objective down, gives them that advantage in space. But that's why we see them pressing for any pick they can find here.
I think both teams have been so good at engaging, but also disengaging. I mean, it seems like there's been a lot of fights, but only 8 deaths total in a matter of 9 minutes. Only 1 tower gone. So they've both been so well at just kind of dragging out these fights and getting away in those crucial situations. The thing is Zipex and CW, both 0 kills, both able to farm, able to get their gold, able to try to be important to their team. So the question is, in the next minute or two, maybe upcoming on this next Lord, which gold laner is really going to pop off?
The thing is, Zipex, even though that Falcon in general, they're behind in 2,000k, Zipex isn't falling too far behind because at some point they were both level 10. CW obviously has a bit of an edge, but that also shows that Falcon is really good at giving the gold to the important members, right? That gold allocation is going to make the difference. And you can see here, Justin already has the Ice Queen wand. He also already has the Glowing Wand. So expect that utility starting to come through. The damage, the dot, as both of these teams, they're going to start setting up a Keyboy.
Naomi will get pushed back. It's a bloodbath. Yellow Flash taking a lot of damage, trying to go in, move on to CW. Keyboy has gone down. Yellow Flash cannot connect. CW picks it up. This is bad for Yellow Flash. This could be bad for Falcon. Kyrie finds Naomi. Can it get a double? Make it a triple. That is a full team wipe for ONIC. This is huge. Can they end it here?
The king of the sky, and he just dismantled Falcon Esports here. And they're going to march into base. This might not be a final push. There's still pretty short death timers, but what a massive play from ONIC Esports.
That was huge, a wipe out. And there you go, the king of the sky himself, Kyrie, getting that triple kill. Unfortunately, Sans got that double kill, but this is what happens when ONIC Esports get the comfortable heroes and the way that they weren't pressured from that early game. Luckily enough, though, Falcon was still able to secure the Lord, so it still buys them enough time to not end the game, and they still have those 3 inhibitor turrets remaining.
Here's the thing, though, right? I mean, given what we just saw, what is the answer, right? What is the answer for Falcon Esports? Best thing you can do is find a pickoff so you at least have a numbers advantage. We're going to be taking a look here at the instant replay presented by TikTok. Look at this. It's a bloodbath from minute 1 here. And already you can see, right? Perfect timing with the shadow kill, Kyrie coming in. And Falcon Esports has they can't do anything but run for the hills. And the turret's not even enough.
This is definitely rough. I mean, Falcon does secure the Lord, though, so we know their head's still in the game during these big team fights. When all the ults are going off, when bombs are in the air, they're still able to hold it together and secure the objective. So that could be the answer. If they can drag it out long enough, if they continue to get Lords and not let ONIC get the full push, maybe they could fight back here. They just need to get this, you know, the pocket strat. They need to surround Zipex. No one can go too far forward. They can't be full dive mode. They kind of have to move as a unit, I feel.
I agree. I completely agree. That's something that I wanted to bring up. In that previous team fight, it didn't feel like they were synchronized. And the way that they've drafted, they need to be synchronized, right? You need these combo wombos to come through. You need the ult coming in from Naomi. You need the ult coming in from Yellow Flash, paired up with that slow and that penetration coming in from Justin. But the way that ONIC Esports were able to do that team fight was they made it messy, right? They had someone in the front line, in the back line, but that's not what a Falcon needs right now. So they need to come back. How are we supposed to play this and not play into ONIC Esports tempo?
Well, that's what I was saying in the draft, right? It's very finicky, right? ONIC Esports can either throw Kyrie at you, they can throw Sands at you, bait out the ultimates that they want. Boots can also go towards the back line here, and that's what he's doing against Zip and Justin, Zipex and Justin. But not only that, then you also have to worry about a Divine Judgment dragging Zipex along or Justin, right? Those are two things that is, actually that's multiple things that's working in ONIC Esports' favor. So Falcon Esports, like we said in the draft, if they lose one of those big damage dealers, whether that's the carry or the Eve, you're in trouble, right? How do you even fight that? Because still across from you, CW, 7 assists, but running that weapon mastery, has the damage and items that he needs on this Beatrix pick, and he's kind of just chilling, right? In a lot of these team fights, he's able to just do freely what he needs to do on this marksman pick because of all that, I mean, back and forth from the heroes of ONIC Esports.
Oh, look at Kyrie, though. He's going to take this tower, able to get away. Doesn't even have to be down there for objective. So already, every moment, ONIC is ready to make a play, and it's going to really kind of pull Falcon apart because that's the goal. Pull them apart a bit. This is going to be the first time, though, that Falcon does not make the initial start on a neutral objective. Naomi tries to find Sans here. That is going to be a big wasted utility. This is big for ONIC coming up on this Lord fight.
Yeah, they know they didn't have the setup, so they're going retreating back. They're running for the hills, but T-Boy
gets a Divine Judgment on Ken. CW going to try to find it, but Kyrie jumps in, picks it up. Falcon on the backboard once again. ONIC should have a free Lord here.
Just like that. I mean, it was a matter of getting out some resources from Falcon Esports, the conceal plus the flicker. It failed, it didn't work, and now ONIC Esports securing themselves another Lord here. Actually, the second Lord of the game. They'll be able to march in, and also keep in mind, Kyrie being able to take down that inhibitor turret in the mid lane, they should be able to get, if not one, maybe even all the inhibitor turrets as Falcon Esports has to deal with this. The clear potential, though, we're talking about 9K gold lead here for ONIC Esports. That is massive in the itemization department.
Yeah, right now, I mean, Kyrie, they're really optimizing and utilizing the fact that they have better mobility. So they have more control over these separate lanes. They're able to pressure Falcon from all these 3 lanes. And look at this, the Lord already marching here in the mid side.
Most definitely Lord is crashing down the mid, but it looks like ONIC may try to move towards top. Kyrie jumps in, then jumps out, but Boots has a Black Dragon looking for Justin or Zipex. Can't quite find it, but the tower does go down. Room manipulation comes out. Naomi, Zipex, Justin all fall, and CW finds another one. Yellow Flash will go down along with the base, and ONIC take game 1.
ONIC going to be able to get game number 1, but remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is a best-of-5 series. We still have many more games ahead of us. So right now, we know that Falcon Esports, they're going to be able to go back to the drawing board, discuss, evaluate on what exactly happened to be able to go 1-to-1 with ONIC Esports.
Man, can I just say I love hearing the crowd. I love Mobile Legends, yes, I love Mobile Legends. But I even love the crowd here, especially just reacting. It's so great to have this again, right? I mean, it was a while where things kind of slowly built back up, but to have this, stadium behind us. And as you can see, it's 1-0 in favor of ONIC Esports. Like you guys said, though, it's a best-of-5, right? A lot of adjustments can be made. This is something that's very different from those group stages, the best-of-1s, right? And still, I gotta say, Falcon Esports, I mean, it's gonna be broken down later from our analysts, our smart minds over there, but Falcon Esports, I feel like it was almost too much tankiness. Like, you almost find too much, and maybe it was the Fredrin, and maybe that's why it's 35% win rate. It's tough for that Fredrin pick right now, but he still picked a lot, right?
He's definitely picked a lot. I think the real thing that went down there that mid lane, that Lilia and that Kaja. You have the sustainability with Kaja to be able to invade in the early game along with the Lilia. And then once you hit level 4, you're just able to put the pressure down because you can always get away if you need to. And then you look at the mid lane on the side of Falcon, and you have this Eve who can't really put that much pressure. You know, you're just kind of sitting ducks in that early phase. Yes, you can move around the map kind of quickly. You can maybe clear wave, but not as fast as that Kaja and that Lilia. And once they were able to control the early game, I think ONIC just had it in the bag.
Well, we're going to find out more, but before we do that, we do want to mention the M4 Battle Night goes live this January 21. Expect loads of events and rewards for grabs in-game. First off, complete battle tasks in the game on January 21 to get a skin choice chest. You can choose the skin that you want most from the chest. I mean, that's a free skin. Who wouldn't want that? And aside from that, the battle bonus awaits you on the same day. Play matches and you'll get team star protection for 3 matches, double star raising points, double protection points, double XP, and double BP for 5 matches. We are not stopping there. There's more. Free access to all the heroes and loads of epic skins will also be available that very day. And save the date. Log into the game on January 21, enjoy the match, and win tons of rewards. Let's all celebrate the M4 Championship together, including with our friends.
Wow. Nice. I marked that on my calendar. January 21, instantly on my calendar.
Yeah, it's marked down. But we are going to be breaking it down further, but not here on the desk. We're going to be throwing it over to the outdoor stadium, I believe, to our analysts over there. Boys, take it away. Oh, okay.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy you guys are back. I missed you guys. Where have you been?
We're back. They're gonna. I think they're sorting out the items. They're sorting out the items. They're sorting things out there on the analyst desk. But so we can talk more about that match number 1.
Or that skin. What skin would you guys pick?
I don't even know what's available.
The Alice skin.
Oh.
Or the Layla Saber.
Oh. Because you can't get a legend skin from that, right?
No legend.
No,
no legend?
I don't know. I think it's a mystery.
I guess we need to find out.
I don't get to pick?
Well, I've got all the Gord skins, so.
We know you have all the Gords.
I'll leave it at that. But
you have a picture of Gord on your wall?
I don't.
I'll get you one.
Okay.
Right
from USA. USA. But okay. I do want to ask you, Trex, how you obviously had your first offline event experience.
Yes.
Right? Before we break down the game further for the boys, how is this? How is this for you? I mean, the first offline international event that you've been in.
I mean, looking at the crowd, it's amazing. This is definitely this is it. This is peak. This is it's been a lot of hard work this year, as I mentioned earlier, and it has definitely paid off. Super excited to be here, man. Not only that, but with Naisu from Discord to in person, definitely an experience, and with the wonderful Eterna as well.
You've probably been watching for a while.
Yes, I've been watching both you guys for a while.
I was waiting for my name. I was like, is he only going to talk about Naisu?
I almost thought about just not even.
So sad.
Well, you don't have to be sad anymore because he mentioned it. He's happy to be here. We got his first cast, and we're going to see a lot of him because I think it's us.
What's the tan?
The
tan trio.
Tan trio.
The good-looking trio.
We can be the Ant trio as well. But again, match number 1's done, right? Falcon Esports, the way that they've performed so far through the group stages. Do you feel like, Eterna, there was something, if you could say there was something lacking here from Falcon Esports? Biggest thing off the bat, right? Do you think it's the draft? Do you think it's the way that they played actually in game? Because we saw a lot of chaos between both teams.
Honestly, draft, I think I kept mentioning it. They didn't have the best wave clear in the mid side, and then they really didn't play towards that either. They didn't really have in mind what they were lacking, and they still went for those neutral objectives, right? Like I mentioned, the Lilia is so strong in that early game. beautiful wave clear, really good rotations, plus, like you mentioned, the Kaja as well. But even so, they were up against someone like the Eve, which Falcon used, who needed that level 4. Wasn't level 4 yet, but they still forced something like the Turtle. See, that was like the first thing that I noticed. I didn't think that they played towards their draft really well. But later on, when they started getting their power spikes, when they started getting their items, when they started to get equal with ONIC Esports in a sense, I didn't see the synergy. The famous synergy that I usually see from Falcon, right? They usually play as a unit. That's what makes them so scary. But I didn't really see that. It could be jitters. It could be just you know, ironing out the kinks. All this is still possible because I didn't see the Falcon that I was used to seeing in that game.
I mean, at the same time, you have to consider the fact that Eve was picked, right? When you have that, she has such a high win rate because of it's the ultimate, right? The ultimate, that real-world manipulation, objectively really does help you. But what is the weakness of real-world manipulation? It's suppress, right? I mean, that is...
Kaja.
The Kaja. And it was just there on point every single time, and it was something that was very difficult to work around because when you lose that ultimate and you're constantly pressing the situation around those objectives, how do you come out on top? How do you win those fights, especially when ZipX, even if he had items, how did he even get in range? That's the downside of carry, right? Your range isn't that, I mean, it's not in comparison to other marksmen, right? It's very, I guess it would be shorter than a lot here.
Yes.
And how do you get to that line, especially when you've got a plethora of things being thrown at you, not to mention a Black Dragon form.
I mean, that Boots was on point in almost every single fight coming right into the back line. But another thing, you know, you mentioned jitters. You mentioned not only the draft, but one of the major things to kind of point out about just some misplays. Every time Keyboy did a conceal play, he made it count. But on, what was it, the last Lord, the second to last Lord, the side of Falcon tried to do a conceal play, and they just kind of whiff it. They bite the bullet. They're not able to succeed. They're not able to really pull through. And that's just a perfect example of maybe there's a little bit of, there's just some mishaps, some misplays. So I think that's going to be it for us finally.
Yeah, we are now going to hear from the boys on the analyst stand. So guys, take this away and break it down further.
I think this is ONIC Esports' answer to the strongest hero in the marksman role or in the golden role, which is the carry. Definitely prepared against that. When they allowed Falcon to pick up the carry, they already have the Kaja, but they supplemented it with Lilia as well as Hayabusa. Two of the heroes that are already great at pressuring the carry. Then they closed it up with Yu Zhong. It's very difficult to play the carry in that game.
What about you, Jace? What are your thoughts?
Personally, as a marksman main, as a carry, you want to go in deep into that team fight, right? But then again, you've got Sans on that Lily as well. Just jumping in, just throwing the balls all across the board. There's no way for you to maneuver, but I can see what Falcon wants to do. You want to go into the big, massive team fight, use Naomi with the Kufra to engage, and then set up the box. It looks like a very good strategy on paper, but in terms of execution, though, gotta give it to ONIC.
I gotta say, man, it looks like ONIC completely understands what's the win condition for Falcon and actively avoiding it because I like how they're really managing all of the spells, all of the ults to make sure that when they go in, it can go in very safe. Let's look at itemization for both teams as well as the hero. Anything interesting that you want to point out, Wolf, either by the items or the draft?
Yeah, two things. First, I would like to commend Yellow Flash here. You know, despite coming in from the losing team, he was very tanky, and he went in for the dominant size very earlier on, make it so difficult for ONIC to actually engage. However, ONIC, their approach was to wait for their timings. They allowed Sans to kind of pop off in this game, particularly the way that he handled the damage output in the early stages. And come the mid-game teamfights, you see like Keyboy just initiates so well in this game, using his flicker and also timing it well with the power spike of his team. Most importantly, Kyrie. I think that we will be talking about a lot about this guy later on, but he did an amazing game with his 6-1-9 KDA for the Hayabusa.
I gotta ask, Jace, because Naomi, for me, is a roam god, but this Kufra really didn't work. Why didn't it work well in this game?
I think it's not about what doesn't work well, but I think it's how CW itemized, right? Because if you notice from the side of Falcon, it's a very tanky lineup. Yellow Flash just refuses to die. But CW, smart though. Demon Hunter Sword was there to answer everything.
And we got to look at the rich guy, Kyrie, 836 gold per minute. The carry, CW, 48,000 damage dealt. Sandbag Can, he's the jungler, but he took the most damage, almost 100k. And Keyboy, 11 total assists as the Forgotten One. And looking at the damage to the turrets, Falcon did not manage to touch any of the turrets.
Yeah, this is because of the wave clear that we can see coming out from ONIC Esports. You have the Kaja, even the Roamer has wave clear. Lilia, of course, very strong at clearing the waves. And you also have this Beatrix. What I really am surprised about is that Kyrie was able to net 100% kill participation, meaning to say ONIC Esports knew how to use this Hayabusa, which was, by the way, picked up second pick for ONIC Esports.
At this point, I kind of feel like it's comfortable, man, because in the best of 5 in the first game, you can do kind of whatever you want. And it looks like, honestly, it's like, all right, let's just try our best heroes. And they look very good.
Yeah, they definitely look very good because, you know, from the side of Falcon, they lost mid priority very early on. It's very hard for Naomi to basically just, you know, do the setup. But of course, let's take a look at MVP.
Yeah, the MVP's got to go over to Kyrie, man. 100% kill participation, 6-1 and 9. Like, again, like, no wonder Merkel backstage was like, yo, this is Haya Kyrie, man. The moment he gets this hero, it's game over.
And definitely playing like a true assassin, like the classic assassins that we're seeing. It's not just about like taking down the opponents or sniping some kills. That timing that you saw coming out from Kyrie, specifically when we saw that Lord Pit fight,
the
where we saw
triple
that it really looked so good for Falcon. But then again, Kyrie went in at the right moment, attacked and, you know, targeted the correct people to go to the backlines, and that already disallowed the side of Falcon to recover from the team fight.
Yeah, right now we got to look at the heat map for Kyrie. This is between the first 5 seconds all the way to the 5 minutes, 5-second mark. And look at the rotation. It's not just in his own jungle, but he's actively going, especially around the orange buff for Falcon.
Dude, Kyrie is everywhere, even behind the lines as well, with the fact that, you know, the shadow kill, that beautiful shadow kill, taking down and cleaning up. He knows how to reserve the ultimates as a cleanup. And of course, very hard and aggressive heat map right here, invading the Fredrin super early on is actually very scary because, you know, if I'm playing the Hayabusa, it's really kind of tough to go up against a tank jungler.
Actually, this almost doesn't make sense. Like, Kyrie with the Hayabusa invading a Fredrin, how is that even possible?
Well, definitely because of the fact that he had Lilia to back him up. But I guess it's also the way we see these heat maps. He plays off map a bit. I mean, it will be very difficult to play against him because you don't know where he is coming from and is on point during those crucial team fights. This is also the reason why ONIC Esports are able to get, what, a bonus of gold despite them trailing when it comes to kills.
Yeah, right now we're looking at the highlights where ONIC Esports going up against Falcon. Like, look at the coordination coming in from ONIC. Like, this is beautiful. The way that they actually enter the team fight based on the cooldowns from Falcon.
That's right.
Talk us through us, Jace.
Yeah, I just feel like, you know, ONIC is reading Falcon super open. It's like Falcon is showing all the answers to the exams of these questions, especially this particular one. Kyrie cleaning up the backline. It's really tough to watch if you are a Falcon fan.
Yeah, and Wolf, like, looking at this situation, was there any situation that Falcon could have potentially come back from this, like, especially from the wipeout at Lord?
I think the moment that probably when they do have the Wind of Nature, for example, for Zipix, along with damage items,